Welcome to the North Bank. Another edition. I'm loving these series, by the way. They've been absolutely brilliant. Arsenal's dream squad, dream transfer window. Max becomes Berta, and he's in control of everything at the club. How are you, Max? Big up to you, bro, and I appreciate the time difference that you're doing this. It must be, was it 10:30 where you are?
It's actually 10:34 p.m. My time, so it's actually relatively early, which is good for me.
It is good for you because normally we were just having a laugh about the picture. I asked Max to send me a picture, and he sent this picture at 5:30 in the morning. So he does look he looks a bit tired on it. But
Yeah,
so I have actually got you a good time to do this, Max.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right,
No, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
right. We're going to just what we're trying to achieve here right now. Max is going to be given the opportunity with the current Arsenal squad to get rid of players, sell them. All transfer valuations are off transfer mark. I've asked the links in the description. I've tried to ask the guys to keep the valuations as realistic as possible. If they're not, I'll pick up on it as we go through the podcast. But Max, you've got to give me 23 first team players, three goalkeepers, two positions for every position, and then you're going to promote two academy players into your squad. Are you ready for this, bro?
Sure,
Okay, let's see your player sales and valuations. You want to go through them?
sure. So obviously, Trossard's is obviously number one now. Obviously, for me, the reason why I'm getting rid of Trossard, I just think he's one of those kind of players that I think we need to move on from. Obviously with player sales and everything else, I could have quite easily put Martinelli into that list, of course. But I just feel like Martinelli has a bigger ceiling and much younger. And I feel like Trossard's come to the end of his career, or who's at the back end of his career, where we need to have better. And I just feel like Trossard, for me, is too unreliable, especially when he's either playing and he's not contributing, or he's coming on and he's either not doing anything, or he's coming on and he's winning the game for us. And I think, for me, I think we're at the stage now where we don't need inconsistent players, and we need to go and upgrade better from him. Obviously, Jesus, quickly touch upon him. I think he's coming to the point now where I think he's just had a little bit injury prone. I think he's lost a yard of pace. So for me, I want to, obviously, we understand, we know that he's obviously not going to be leaving in this January window because he's obviously still injured. So when obviously the winter window comes around, I will be moving on from Jesus as well. Tomiyasu, obviously, in the same issue. I think he's just coming to the point now. Look, for me, I love his versatility. I love the fact that he can play right across the back four, but I just feel like he's, again, like Jason. I think he's a little bit too injury prone. I think he's in the time that he's been here. I think I read a stat the other day. I think he's only played I think 1,500 minutes out of a possible 3,157 minutes. So for me, I think he's I think he's at the point now where we need to move on from him. Obviously, Kivior, again, I think he's had a great season. I think we're at the point now where he's stocked the high. Obviously, I've used all the transfer market values for as you wanted me to. So I think, if realistically, I think we could possibly get a little bit more for him. Obviously, Jesus and Trossard as well, considering Saudi Arabia and obviously other things. But again, I'm just using basic maths. Vieira, and obviously Nelson. Obviously, Nelson's obviously at Bournemouth, or not Bournemouth, Fulham. And he's just not going to get used. And I think we need to move on from him. Vieira, he's had a great season over at Porto. I've been watching him closely. Again, another one that could potentially have higher value. Again, I'm just using the market value. Zinchenko, he's he's barely been used at all. And just the last few games he has in the last couple of games he has been used, but I just feel like we need to move on from him. Tierney obviously is living on a free. Jorginho's obviously living on a free. Partey's obviously living on a free. Lokonga, I don't know why he's still here. Marquinhos, I don't know why he's still here. Tavares, obviously, I think he's got an obligation, so I don't think he'll get much from him. I'm just using market value. Obviously Karl Hein is obviously the third choice goalkeeper, which we're going to get a little bit of money for. So for me, those are the players. The reason I said I just think those are probably the players that are more realistic that we could possibly sell and get money value without selling our assets. So I saw your podcast last night. Great podcast, by the way, Mark. Well done. And I just feel like players like Ben White, I feel like Arteta's going to use him, so I don't see us as realistically selling. But again, this is your personal opinion. And I just feel like Martinez, again, as I said before, I think he's in high in assets, so I don't think he's going to be going on anywhere. And I think the cards made it clear I don't think he's going anywhere. So for me, that's who the players I'd pick and sell.
Yeah, do you know what, Max? I'm going to give you a fair play to you because you're absolutely right. I think Kevio, especially with getting game time, I think Arsenal will command a higher fee for him. Tomiyasu, if I'm being realistic with you, but I will answer this. Tomiyasu, there's no way Arsenal will get 21 million for him. He's far too injury prone. Jesus, his high wages and also the valuation there. Again, you've used Transfermarkt, and I get that. The link's in the description, guys. There's no way Arsenal were getting that kind of money for him, not with his wages and the injuries. The rest of the players, I think that you have been extremely realistic, if I'm being honest. I think that you could command their fees. I like the fact that you've done that with Lokonga, etc. So, yeah, Nelson was another one. I think you'd be lucky if you get 10 million. But, no, fair play. But Max didn't actually spend the full budget, so that side, there's only slight variation, but I think that you've done a pretty decent job there, mate, and I like your understanding.
What I will say though, I think obviously you can see there on the screen. Everybody you can see on screen. I obviously put Trossard as 25 mil, but I generally think if a club like from the Saudi comes in, I think we could easily get 35 to 40 million for him. Just on that.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. The two players that you haven't mentioned there is Neto and Raheem Sterling, who are on loan. I take it you're sending them back?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. I mean, it made no sense to sign a cup goalkeeper, and obviously Sterling. We all know about Sterling, and so we don't need to talk about that. So,
yeah.
I think
perfectly. I think I summed up perfectly on mine's last night, mate.
and the other thing, what I will say, I think out of Trossard, I think again, as I mentioned, I think we can get 30 to 40 million from him. I think obviously Kivio is obviously 18 million on Transfermarkt, but I generally think we could get 25 to 30 million quite easily, considering the season that he's had, considering the injuries that's come in, and obviously. And I just think he wants to play first team football, and I think we could easily get 25 to 30 million from a Italian team, something like that. Vieira, again, another asset which we could probably get, around about 30 to 35 million for, around about that sort of price. And I think possibly Zinchenko, you could probably squeeze 25 to 30. And I think Nelson, you could probably get maybe 18 to 23, 24, something like that, considering that he's an English prospect, still quite young and all that kind of stuff. So but again, as I said, I'm using Transfermarkt, but I generally think we could squeeze a few bit more money in there as well if you really wanted to.
No, perfect, bro. Right, but let's move on to players that you're bringing in.
Sure.
Your first one?
Okay, so obviously Joan Garcia, we've obviously been linked with him. Obviously Arteta really rates him. Obviously he's young, he's a Spanish goalkeeper, and obviously there's a bit of a Spanish thing going on at Arsenal at the moment. It's obviously the likes of Zubimendi, which we'll touch upon later, Mikel Merino. It's obviously that's obviously a Spanish thing. David Raya is obviously a Spanish player, and I think Arteta really likes his Spanish players, and I think they're obviously known for their ball playing ability. I think when it comes to ball playing ability, I think Jhon Garcia, I've watched the few games that I have watched him play and some of the highlights as well. I think he's a very, very well progressive ball carrier, and I think he's very similar to David Raya. I think these main weaknesses that I've seen, I think his decision making at times can be a little bit iffy, but I think he's young, so he's going to grow as a team, and I think he's a quality player. He's had a quality season. He's probably been the best player at Espanyol, and obviously, I know, and obviously we're at the point now where I think we need a second choice goalkeeper to come in and obviously potentially challenge Reb potentially in the distant future when he gets to that sort of age, and I just feel like that's kind of the goalkeeper we're going to go for. But obviously there's been rumors there about Berta potentially not being want to get the other signings done first before obviously touch upon on the goalkeeper. So I think for me, Jhon Garcia is probably the most economical of the goalkeepers. That's obviously not going to be asking for first team football. Obviously he will get game time, obviously. But I feel like he's happy to come in when needed to go and fill in for the spots.
Right, perfect. Okay, your next one.
Obviously, I can't speak highly enough about Joe Haddo. I think he's a very, very similar profile to Timber, obviously, but on the left-hand side, can play across the back four, just like Timber can play across the back four. He's left-footed, can play left back, can play left centre back, and he has been playing right centre back for Ajax at times when needed to fill in. He's quick, he's strong, he's very technically gifted on the ball, can invert into midfield, can overlap, so can do both the Ben White and the Timber role when needed. Obviously, he's still very young, so he has a chance to grow with the team. He's obviously a Netherlands international, and yeah, I just really, really like him. I really like the profile. Obviously, Arteta's obviously really likes the inverted profile. And obviously wants someone similar to Timber on that left-hand side. And obviously we'll touch upon the squad afterwards. But for me, Joe Haddo, quality play, quality aspect, very defensively solid. And yeah, amazing player.
No, superb. I agree. I do agree. Richard done the same on his, and a great take, Mark. So I love it. Right. Next one. This one is a wee bit left field, in my opinion. Do you want to give us your reasons?
Sure. Antonio Silva. I've obviously watched a lot of him at Benfica. One of probably my favorite players at Benfica. We obviously saw him when we were in the Europa League. I think it was a season ago, and I think this season as well. Funnily enough, as well. And he's very, 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 very quality, very good ball passing. And obviously, Arteta loves his ball passing players. He's good aerially. Very, very sort of a very good leader in the back. He has the potential to be a leader in the future, and I can't stress this highly enough about this player. Obviously, he can drop into midfield. He can both play left centre back and left back as well. So a versatile player as well. And obviously, Arteta likes his versatility. He can also, not only that, he can also play. He's both omni-footed, so he can play. He has a left foot and a right foot, so he can both play as a right centre back and a right back as well. He's obviously strong foot is his left foot, but he can play has both footed. And I really, really rate the kid, and he's obviously 21. So with that, and obviously needing to fill in numbers, I really, really like the player. He's going to be cheap. We probably could get him for about maybe I'd say 28 to 35 million. So not a huge fee. And can be a rotational player when we need to rest the likes of Saliba and obviously Calafiori will be coming in for Gabriel when needed, which we'll touch upon on a little bit later. So yeah, I really like the player, and I can't speak highly enough of him. And so yeah, I do really like him.
Yeah, just before we move on, can you just tell everyone watching, in the description we have two giveaways currently ongoing. One from Zenith Coins, which you have the opportunity to win a £149 coin set. Now, these coin sets, once they sell out, they actually go up in value massively. They're really high sought after. So I've left the link in the description. Go and register. Takes 30 seconds to register. Click back on the link again and you enter the competition. It'll take you less than a minute, and it's absolutely free. The winner will be chosen at the end of this month. And also, Ruth Beck as well. We're giving away a free print of Ruth's. It's A4. It's absolutely brilliant, and my house is covered in it. The pictures behind you that you can see behind me, is from Ruth. So please get into the link. Right, Max, on to your next one, bro.
Yep. Obviously, Master Mendy, obviously, we don't need to really touch upon him, but I will touch upon him just briefly. We looks like it's a done deal. And again, a Jorginho replacement, someone where we need to obviously replace, obviously, with him, obviously going on a free to, obviously, forget the team he's going to. I think he's going. I can't remember the life of me.
Flamingo.
Yeah, Flamingo. Yeah. So again, quality player. Much younger, very quick on the ball, very technically gifted, very good aerially. I read a stat the other day. He's probably in the top 8 in terms of aerial sort of collection in terms of retrieving the ball. Again, good. What he's sort of lacks in is that he's very good at long passing, very good at short passing, very good at he's versatile, can play CDM and central midfield, and he is if I watched him in the Euros, and he's just an amazing technically gifted player, and he's probably one of the most exciting prospects coming out of Spain, other than obviously Rodri, that obviously went to Man City. And I think in a couple of years' time, when Rodri does retire, I think he can be our Rodri, generally. And he's that good.
Brilliant. Superb, Max. Thank you for that. Next one.
Okay, so this is a bit of a wild card. I think for me, Odegaard for me has had a poor season by his standards. I think he'd probably acknowledge that himself. But for me, he's my captain. He's been good for solidly for 3 years. But I just feel like there's certain players in this team that are getting a little bit too comfortable, and I think there's times in the season where we need to rotate so that Odegaard's not really being overused. The players like Saka, which we'll touch upon later, I think need to get a better rotation into him. Players like Saliba and players like Gabriel, and Declan Rice, those another couple of players that need to have proper rotation. So that's why I put adequate backup. For me, Arsenal fan, can play number 10, can play number 8, can play left wing, and for me, he is one of the most amazing players at Crystal Palace, other than obviously what's the left back's name? Tyrick Mitchell, right? And he's good going forward. He presses on the ball. He's good defensively. Amazing passer, amazing cross. Can take free kicks as well. Let's not forget that as well. So for me, Eric Eze, for me, he's the player the most excited, and there's obviously I think there's also been links that we've been linked with him, and Arteta's looking at him, and I just want this. This is a player that for me in he's Premier League proven as well, and obviously we saw him against us in the Crystal Palace game, and he's just an amazing player, and obviously he took that kick outside the box, which we all remember, and he's like that as a player, and he's also versatile, as I said. So for me, Eze for me is the Odegaard replacement. Not a replacement, but Odegaard still will play, but he will come in as rotation in Champions Leagues and Carabao Cup games and FA Cup games, and obviously when Odegaard if he's Odegaard needs to come off, bringing a player like this on the field, it will change the dynamic and make teams shoot themselves, literally.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think he's an absolute top quality player, bro. So this is a player that excites me.
Okay, so for me, Antoine Semenyo, obviously, we've been linked with him as well. For me, he's an amazing dribbler, very quick, very technically gifted, has a right foot, has a left foot, can play on the touchline, can cut inside as well, has a very, very good sort of football brain, and he, for me, is other than obviously Rodrigo, which obviously you mentioned on your show, I think probably is my second choice, assuming that obviously we don't get Rodrigo, obviously, but for me, I think he's affordable. I think he's also probably willing to go. I think he upgrades the left hand side. I think he definitely gives Martinelli competition. And for me, when we go back to the squad a little bit later, I think would start majority of the games. And he's definitely an Arteta type player. And not only that, he can play on the right and he can play on the left as well. So again, a versatile player. And I think. For me, I think he's also a very good crosser of the ball, and he's a good free kick taker as well. So again, more quality in our team, and so that if a player's not on it and he's doing crossings, we can rotate the squad and we can bring players on that can potentially change the game. And if Martinelli's starting, we can bring him on to impact the game. So for me, I love this player. And Semenyo for me, if we don't get Rodrigo, for me would be a quality addition.
I think he's outstanding, and I think he's got the possibility to push Martinelli onto the bench, if I'm being honest, and I think Martinelli needs that to also progress. So I think that's an excellent choice, Max, if I'm being honest. Okay. Now, this one for me is slightly left field. Now, Morgan Gibbs-White is actually linked to Manchester City, but you went for him in attacking midfield?
No, I went for him as a number 8. So for me, in my team, for me, he is probably he's honestly, I can't speak highly enough of Morgan Gibbs-White. He is one of the most amazing number 8s in the Premier League, and I say that with considering the amount of number 8s that are in the Premier League right now. And he's, again, amazing free kick taker. He can play number 10. He can play number 8. He can play central defensive midfielder. He has the tactical brain to basically play different roles. He can be played on the left as well. He can played on the right. He can be played in multiple positions. And for me, Morgan Gibbs-White is just one of the most amazing young prospects, and he's 25 now. He's getting to the peak of his career. He probably wants to go on and win trophies. Obviously, if Man City don't pick him up, this would be my choice, and obviously Man City will be linked with Reinders and obviously Florian Wirtz. But for me, this player would literally add quality and be one of the most exciting number 8s that in our team for a long time since Santi Cazorla. So for me, Morgan Gibbs-White is a no-brainer for me, and I just feel like if there's a chance to go and get him, I think we need to go and bite the bullet. And I think he's with Eze as well as Morgan Gibbs-White, and both English prospects are as to our English count. So for me, again, Morgan Gibbs-White, I can't speak highly enough of him, and he's amazing. He's just an amazing quality player. I love him.
Yeah, no, fair play, bro. Okay, moving on to your last one.
Okay, so obviously, Victor Gokres, I don't need to speak enough about him. He's obviously done it. He's done it for. He's done it in the Championship. He's done it in Portugal. He's probably going to end up winning the Portuguese Cup against Benfica at the end of the season. I think he's got one more game to go, and they just need to win the game to win the Portuguese Cup. He's a winner. He knows what he knows. He knows what scoring is all about. He's quick. He's strong. He's good. He's good aerially. He's good at holding the ball back to goal. And I know we obviously played Sporting this year, and he wasn't exactly lighting it up. But everybody has bad games, and for me, Victor Gokres is just one of these players. If we don't get Isak, I just feel like he's our second choice, and I feel like Andre Berta really rates him. I really rate him, and I love the player, and I love the celebration. And for me, he would be our Aubameyang, and we haven't played the Aubameyang for quite some time. We haven't been playing without a striker for quite some time, and he just knows where the goal is, and and I just love the player, and I can't speak hardly enough of him.
100%. I think you're right. After Isak, this is the player, without a shadow of a doubt, Max. So I absolutely agree. So, Max, you've spent all KSE's money.
Sure.
You had a war chest, 300 million plus player sales.
Sure.
You've came in under the 300 million, and that's so the valuations at the beginning, if some were slightly inflated and others were slightly deflated, if you want to say it that way, you still came in well under. So this transfer window is very realistic. So I want to go on to your starting 11, bro. And if you just want to go through it and talk about your backups in each position, and then viewers get involved and let me know what you think of Max's side. Do you think it could go on to win the quadruple? Remember what I said about the links in the description for the sponsors. So easy to join, free of charge, and somebody will win 2 amazing gifts at the end of the month. But Max, the picture's not great, Max, so you're going to have to go through it. But Max has went for a 4-2-3-1. So Max, you want to just talk about your starting 11 and backups, please?
Sure. So obviously David Raya is obviously in goal. We don't need to touch upon that. I think he'll be the starting goalkeeper next season. Obviously, Joan Garcia will be the backup. So obviously I've already touched upon him. Jurrien Timber, one of the best right backs in the league right now, and will be for the next couple of years or so. And obviously having and being able to, as I said, with Hato being able to invert. He's an inverted type player, can play into midfield. Like Arteta wants, and he's good defensively. I just like with Timber, I just feel like with Ben White as a backup, I feel like Ben White's the overlapping fullback and can make nice triangles with the likes of Odegaard and Saka, obviously. But obviously Timber will start in my team. Saliba, again, I don't need to mention Saliba. He's just Saliba. He's a Rolls Royce. Gabriel, your favorite player at Arsenal. I love the guy. Has an infectious smile that literally, and he commanded back four. I love the guy. I can't rate him highly enough. I was actually watching a Prime video just today actually on Gabriel, and it was after we won against PSG 2-0, and he was greeting fans, and he also has a partner in his kid, and he took time to greet the fans as he was with the kid, and I just can't. I love Gabriel really. João Hato, again, as I said, touched upon it when I was made the selection, can invert, can overlap. Still quite young, so he will have room to grow. And obviously, Miles Lewis-Kelly as backup. Calafiori is obviously backup to Gabriel. And obviously, Silva is obviously backup to Saliba. Obviously, moving on to midfield, Declan Rice and Zubimendi. The reason why I put Declan Rice in, because he's majorly a defensive midfielder. And I just want more creativity in my team, and that's why I stuck him at defensive midfielder. And obviously, he will eventually be, for me in my team, the Partey replacement. Declan Rice, Zubimendi will be the Jorginho replacement. Morgan Gibbs White will be the more attacking sort of creative player. So when we're in transition, Odegaard will go into the right 8, and obviously Morgan Gibbs-White will go into the left 8. So it's a very fluid formation. And when Odegaard was at his best, which was when he had two defensive midfielders. So at this, if there comes a time where you want to be a bit more defensively solid, you can play Rice and Zubimendi, and then have the likes of Eze and Morgan Gibbs-White and Mourinho to come on potentially if you want to swap things around if it's not quite working. And obviously Mourinho is obviously the backup to Morgan Gibbs-White. Obviously, moving on to the right wing, Saka. Again, I don't need to speak enough about Saka. We all know about Saka, and we know how good he is. And obviously, put Ethan Nwaneri as the backup because I just feel like he's going to get a chance this season to show how good he is. And I feel like when he was in the team, he played really well on the right wing, not in the number 10. And I think Arteta sees him as a right wing, so I stuck him there, obviously. Odegaard, again, captain, plays number 10 for Norway, and can play, as I said, in the formation I was playing, can drop back into the right 8 and to retrieve the ball in a sort of defensive transition, as they can also play as a right 8 as well and play number 10. So a very fluid formation. Semenyo, again, as I said, will start for me, give Martinelli competition. And obviously Martinelli is obviously the substitute, and obviously Victor Gyokeres is the starting striker next season, and obviously Kai Havertz will be the substitute to come on. So obviously you have the pace in Victor Gyokeres, and then you have the if you want to go a bit more aerially and have one of those more aerial possessions, you can bring the likes of Marino on, you can bring the likes of Kai Havertz on. And go from there and be a bit more sort of aerially, where we were dominant last season, where we had probably the highest corner rate in terms of corners and heading goals. So if we want to go back to that thing where we're struggling to break teams down, we can go to that, or we can bring more attacking players on. So a very fluid formation and a lot of creativity in the team. So and can handle different scenarios. So for me, this would be my starting team.
No, fantastic, and that bench would be absolutely lit, if I'm being honest, and well broken down as well. Just before we finish off, could you tell me who your backup, your third choice goalkeeper is, and who the 2 academy players are you bring through, bro?
Sure. So obviously I was watching your show the other night, and obviously I'm going to bring obviously Tommy Setford up as the third choice goalkeeper. Obviously, I'm going to bring Max Darman into the team from the academy. I really like the guy. I think potentially, I think he can start a few games. I think he can definitely give Odegaard some rest. So if we want to rest Odegaard, we could just start Eze and have Max Darman on the bench. And you can both play, and we can both play in the sort of the number 8 position as well. So we can have Morgan Gibbs-White and maybe give Marino a rest, so we can both rotate the squad. So for me, for Max Darman, and obviously for me, I would obviously start Butler or Adeji as the other striker to make up the 25-man squad. And again, a very versatile player, can play across the front 3. So for me, those would be my 3 players.
No, superb, Max. I've loved doing this with you, mate, and very in depth, and absolutely loved it. Guys, again, links are in the description. All the transfer valuations have come from Transfermarkt, and we have 2 competitions ongoing, one for Zenith Coins, one for Ruth Beckard. Please click on the links, register, jump back on, click on, and it's like it takes 30 seconds. You're in the draw, free to enter, and amazing prizes. Jump over to YouTube, give us a sub, give us a like, and drop a comment in and ask Max. Ask Max any question at all. He'll respond back to you regarding the side if you agree or disagree with anything that he said. Max, you're an absolute legend, mate, and thank you so much for this. I have more than enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah, no worries, man. Anytime. And I will say is, if anyone wants some real good, amazing art, that's Arsenal related, please contact Ruth Beckard. I can't stress this highly enough. I love her artwork. I've seen some of her pieces. She's done a lot of pieces for Highbury Squad, obviously, and done a lot of pieces for different channels. She's an amazing artist, and I can't stress this hard enough. So please subscribe. Please do all the things you need to do. Get in the competition, win some art. It's amazing. I wish I had some right now, actually. Yeah, I can't stress enough. Go get some Bruce Beck art. It's amazing.
No, thanks, Maxine. You're absolutely right. My house is full of it. So until the next one, guys, we're out of here. Up the
Come on, you
Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.